Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's me, T-Bone, from the LUNSB Show with T-Bone and Chick Brew. It's Sunday morning. It's 10:30-ish, and it's time for the Supplemental. Supplemental comes to you every Sunday morning, and we do three things. We talk about your national days of the week. We tell you about a comedy, a community, or a charity event, and then we do our we do our This Week in History trivia style. It is a fun time had by all. And when I say all, I mean the two people that regularly participate. But don't take that as a knock. I enjoy your regular participation. What you do not know is me and the old Chat GPT there. We've been going at it. Last week, it gave me the wrong days for the week. And I yelled at it, and it apologizes profusely. That's all it does. Anytime you catch ChatGPT lying to you, giving you bad information, it's like, yeah, my bad, sorry. Okay, here's the deal. And then sometimes the deal it gives you isn't correct. So today when I said, give me the supplemental prep, it gave me the wrong information again from last week when it told me it wasn't going to do that anymore. So there was a lot of back and forth between me and the computer artificial intelligence, or as someone likes to call it, autistic intelligence, because that's what it feels like. Feels like I'm dealing with an autistic person, but not one of the smart ones. Remember when they used to have these things called idiot savants? Idiot savants. Man, they were dummies, but they were really smart with one thing. They were an idiot savant. Do they still have those? Or is it okay to call them idiots anymore? Probably not. They probably just call them savants. And everyone thinks they're sophisticated because they're savants. But they're really idiots who are good at one thing. Like me. Am I an idiot savant? I feel like that's me. I feel like yeah. That's me. And let's get started with your national days of the week. I'm a clicking. Those comments should everybody want to have a real good time. And I got this song in my head. Wow. Let's do that one. Monday, July 28th, is National Water Park Day. Now, when you go to a water park, there's going to be water there. Lots of it. And if your child doesn't know how to swim, you put floaties on them. Even when they're in the section that doesn't require floaties. Because kids have the strangest way of turning up in the sections that need floaties when they didn't have floaties, and then they're the floaty. And that happened recently, where a young child that didn't know how to swim, apparently, and wasn't wearing floaties, turned into a floaty at a local water park. And you don't want to do that, okay? So on National Water Park Day, just remember this. Don't take your kids to the water park unless they can swim. And if they can't swim, put a life jacket on them. Put some floaties on them. Even if they're just going down the tube slide, yeah, they're going to look stupid. And when they don't want to look stupid anymore, they're going to ask you to teach them how to swim. And if you don't know how to swim, you need to learn how to swim. Or you need to be wearing floaties. But for some reason, I feel like you're flotatious enough. Just hold your breath and you'll pop to the surface. I went through a serious sneezing fit before we started, and it's all lingering right here, right now. And I try not to do that because I realize how irritating that could be. So yeah, on National Water Park Day, Monday, July 28th, take your children to the water park, or do it the week of. But they need to know how to swim, and if they don't know how to swim, they need to be wearing floaties. And if they are in a section of the park that doesn't require floaties and they're wearing floaties, maybe that will motivate them to learn how to swim. As a human being, you should learn how to swim on a planet that's 80% water, because you're not just going to be in the tub all your life. In the tub all my life, life. In the tub all my life. That last one was for me. Moving on. Oh, man. There are just some decisions to make on Tuesday, July 29th. There are some decisions to make. You understand? But I'm going to go with it. Tuesday, July 29th, is National Lasagne Day. I don't like other people's lasagne. I like my own lasagne. I use no-bake noodles because it's the 21st century, and that technology exists. And at a minimum, there are 7 layers in my lasagna. I've done as many as 15. I've seen as many as 100. A 100-layer lasagna. Do you know how much you need to eat of a 100-layer lasagna to be full? Like a quarter of a slice. Like, we all know that a slice of lasagna is like a slice of cake, right? But the more layers you put into it, 7, 15, 100. So if you have a 100-layered lasagna, you don't need to eat the whole slice. I doubt you can eat the whole slice because there's so much. What do you need? What do you need to make an amazing lasagna? I'll tell you exactly what you need. You need some sauce. You need some meat sauce. You need a cheese sauce. You need lasagna. And love. Those are all the ingredients you need. You lay down a little sauce. You lay down some lasagna. You lay down some meat sauce. You lay down some lasagna. You lay down some cheese sauce. You lay down some lasagna. Rinse, wash, and repeat. Do that over and over again until you can't fit any more in the pan. Then you throw some more sauce over the top, some cheese, you put some mozz over the top, some pepper, some basil, a couple pepperonis, never hurt nobody, and you got a lasagna that you made with your own hands. It's tasty and delicious. Do that on Wednesday, July 29th, National Lasagne Day. Moving on. That was fun. I'm so dry. Ahem. Ahem. Wednesday, July 30th, is National Father-in-Law Day. Now, I am a father-in-law, and I am not looked upon favorably, and I'm okay with that. I had a father-in-law who I looked upon favorably because I thought he was just an awesome guy. And he's no longer with us, but doesn't change the fact that I enjoyed hanging out with him and talking to him. And I'm just the weird dude that wanted to get with his daughter. And I'm sure he had to deal with plenty of weird dudes that wanted to get on with his daughter, but he dealt with me the most, and he dealt with me for the longest, and I miss my father-in-law. He's a pretty amazing guy. But again, I'm very self-aware that I, as a father-in-law, nobody likes me, and I'm okay with that too. But on July 30th, National Father-in-Law Day, if you like your father-in-law, maybe you throw him a bone. Maybe you say something nice to him. You do something good for your father-in-law. Because without him, you ain't got that person. Because it could be a daughter or son. But you ain't got him without the father-in-law. So thank the father-in-law. And if you got a rocky relationship with the father-in-law, try. Say hello. Try something. It's Wednesday, July 30th. National Father-in-Law Day. That's what she said. Michael Thomas Scott. Very funny. As always, very funny. Lines from the tablecloth. La 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 la. Songs in my head all day. Here we go with the last day of the month. July 31st. July 31st is National Mutt Day. If you don't know what a mutt is, it's the leftover ingredients from an unholy union like my brothers. National Mutt Day. There are many of you who love to pat yourself on the back and tell the world what an amazing person you are because you rescued an animal from the pound. And you kind of are. So thank you. Thank you for doing that. But most of the animals that you rescue from pounds are not purebreds. Very rarely will you see a purebred in a kennel being adopted. You get the mutts. And I have a purebred puppy that is very his breed line is very synonymous with being rapey. They are the Genghis Khan of rape dogs. If you ever seen a dog and go, wow, that dog looks like a real dog, it probably has a little Ridgeback seed in it somewhere. There was probably some Ridgeback rape along the line. If you did a 23andMe on all of the mutts that are out there, there's going to be a little Ridgeback in them. They are what is African to humans. Like, all of us come from Africa. All of us, as far as we know, the oldest skeletons we've ever found are in Africa. So we all came from Africa, and we all evolved into the precious white beings that we may be because we didn't need big air cooling nostrils, and we didn't need massive amounts of melatonin anymore. And so we Whitey is morphed from Blackie. We are all African of some kind. Same mind, unblind, not forbidden and unforbidden. I don't rhyme for to take a riddle in. And dogs are the same way. They are all wolf. But somewhere along the way, there was a Ridgeback inserted in the wolf, and then there was a husky. It doesn't matter what it is. If you've got a mutt in your life, the last day of July, the 31st of July, is a great time to celebrate National Mutt Day. You are a rescue from a fire station. Pure breed equals recessive genes. He saith. Lasagna Day and Father's Day, Father-in-Law's Day. God dang it, James. Wednesday is Father-in-Law Day. Tuesday the 29th is National Lasagna Day. Let's get into August. August the 1st is National Homemade Pie Day. I am interested, and I'll bring this up later when I'm talking to Chick Brew, but I am interested in what is your favorite pie? Me, it's 3.14. Math joke. No, what is your favorite pie? I know my answer immediately, but it's not something that you would guess because it is an invention of my own creation. I love a good blueberry, a good apple, a good pecan. Now, pecan's a good one. A mincemeat, a rutabaga. All of those are good. But ain't none of them got nothing on shepherd's pot pie. Oh, lemon meringue. That's an excellent one. I like shepherd's pie. And I like pot pie. So I challenged my beloved to combine the two, to amalgamate two of my favorite things into a shepherd's pot pie. Phenomenal. Unbelievable. Other words of greatness. I love a shepherd's pot pie. I do. That is my favorite. Lemon meringue is the only response I got in the time that I had to talk about this. Celebrate your favorite pie on August the 1st, National Homemade Pie Day. Strawberry pie from Shoney's. Jess is a strawberry rhubarb with a crumbled top. Oh, but still my beating heart, you forget the crumbled top. Yes, the crumbled top. Excellent choice, madame. That's stupid. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Ugh. I guess we're doing this. Again, it gives me 4 options, and I just do the best I can do with what it gives me. Saturday, August the 2nd. It's National Ice Cream Sandwich Day. What would you do for a Klondike bar? A Klondike bar is just an ice cream sandwich. And that was their ad campaign many, many years ago about people willing to turn tricks for a freaking ice cream sandwich. And it wasn't even Saturday, August the 2nd, National Ice Cream Sandwich Day. It was just a random day on the week. Hey, what would you do for a Klondike bar? I'd blow you in the back alley, was a popular response. No, I wouldn't do anything for anything. I am not seeking out favor for an ice cream sandwich. I will just buy the ice cream sandwich. And if I had a freezer big enough at work, I would just buy ice cream sandwiches, and I would bring them into work, and I would give them out randomly, but it falls on a Saturday. So that's not happening either. So, my BJ's Wholesale Discount Club is my favorite store because I love BJ's. They have an ice cream sandwich section, and they're moving to their new location off the Pike. Pike is a word we use in Pennsylvania to describe a road. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why. So, yeah, I'm going to go to the new location of BJ's because I love BJ's. I'm going to get me some ice cream sandwiches. I'm going to put them in the freezer and walk around asking people, what would you do? That's Saturday, August the 2nd, National Ice Cream Sandwich Day. Moving on. Hell yeah, love a good ice cream sandwich, saith Robert. dry today. Finally, Sunday, August the 3rd, I'm doing this for you. As National Watermelon Day. Once upon a time, when I was young and innocent, I also liked the watermelon. Watermelons were tasty and delicious. The colder, the better. Add a little salt. But that's when I was young and innocent. I lost my innocence as a child working in the watermelon fields. Strangely enough, I also worked in the cotton and tobacco fields, and I don't have a problem with cotton, and I didn't have a problem with tobacco. But I do have a problem with watermelon. Because when you've been humping watermelon all day, and the only thing you can eat is watermelon on the go, like, we'd load 1,000 watermelons, and then we'd crack one open, and we'd eat the guts out of it, and then we would move on. There were no pee breaks. There were no potty breaks. It was just working the fields. Because I was... I almost crossed the line. Not going to cross that line. Yeah, I was a kid working in watermelon fields, lifting watermelons all day, which are cute and cuddly, but every once in a while you get this thing we'd call a shamu. These were giant watermelons in excess of 30 pounds. They'd really torque your body. Eating watermelon all the time, working in the watermelon fields, I started to hate watermelon. I didn't like it anymore. Just the thought of eating it turned my stomach. I didn't want any more watermelon. Now, as I have aged and gotten farther away from the trauma that was my childhood, I do occasionally take a bite of watermelon and remember, oh yeah, I did enjoy that. That was tasty and delicious. Do you know if you grow the watermelon in a box, it'll take the shape of the box? And then you can sell it in Japan and Korea for a ton of money. They love squared watermelon, and they will pay a lot of money for it. It's Sunday, August the 3rd, National Watermelon Day. Watermelon chicken bites are arugula with a good Fuji apple dressing. No, none of that sounded good at all. Stop it. Quickly, in our community notes, once again, we're telling you about the, we're doing it, Speranza Animal Rescue is who we're supporting, but we're doing it in a roundabout way where you can have fun with your support by going to animals-r-us.org. Animalsrus.org. There you can buy a cash raffle ticket. One for $25 or five for $100. That's the better deal because they're only $20 a piece then. You buy your raffle ticket. You don't need to be present to win. The top prize is $15,000. Second prize, $3,500. Third prize, $2,500. And if you buy your tickets before August the 1st, there's an additional $1,000 option prize that you can get. Again, Animals Are Us with hyphens in between R and us.org. Go there, look at the list of all of the charities that they support. Every animal rescue charity in the area is getting a piece of this pie. So here's what you can do. You can donate money to a variety of worthy causes with the option of winning money back, possibly. So, join along with me, and then we'll go to Snappers on October the 8th for the live drawing. That should be a good time. Animalsrus.org. Go in, buy your lottery tickets, help support local animal rescues in and around the greater Harrisburg metropolitan area, and have the option of possibly winning a little bit of money for yourself. Remember, winners do not need to be present to win. So, animalsrus.org. And that has been this week, blah, blah, blah. Like your squared eggs. You leave my squared eggs out of this, James. And on to a fan favorite portion of the program. We go into This Week in History, a trivia style. 7 questions, and only 7 questions. The goal, get all 7 right. I have chastised AI. No more trick questions like last week. That was some BS. It's to keep it, medium challenging. That's what we want. Here we go. Question number 1. On July 24th, 1969, what NASA mission safely returned from the moon? July 24th, 1969. What NASA mission successfully returned from the moon? Was it Gemini 8 or Apollo 10, Apollo 11, Apollo 13? Those are your options. Gemini 8, I'll open with 55. Apollo 10, Apollo 11, or Apollo 13. I know the answer. James Taney knows the answer. Mr. Taney pops in with Apollo 11. I agree with him. It is Apollo 11. Looking at the toxic ticks, I got nothing over there. I got nothing from Robert. And anybody else who may be watching that doesn't want to answer, don't care. We're going to move on. You keep track of your answers and your scores. Again, the goal is to go 7 for 7. And let's see if we can do it. Question number 2. What city hosted the 1996 Summer Olympics, which officially opened on July 19th? Jess says 10. Robert says 11. Okay. I know you have enough electronic devices in your house where Jess can play along with us on her own device. Having a room full of people watching on one tablet doesn't boost my numbers. All right, we got our answer. Apollo 11 for James, Apollo 10 for Jess, Apollo 11 for Robert, and Apollo 11 for me. Question number 2. What city hosted the 1996 Summer Olympics, which officially opened on July 19th? Was it Sydney, Barcelona, Atlanta, or Athens? That's question number 2. 1996. Mr. Taney pops in with Sarajevo. Probably not correct. Since it wasn't one of the 4 options, she doing marketplace. What city hosted the 1996 Summer Olympics? Was it Sydney, Barcelona, Atlanta, or Athens? I have Atlanta from Robert, Sarajevo from James. Nothing from Jess. Nothing over there on the tuck of the ticks. Lovely Lacey. Hello, lovely Lacey. With the flower that other people use as their little symbol. Oh, Roberto's right. Atlanta. So James is changing his answer. He is correct. Robert is correct. Robert lives in Georgia, where every time he passes a sign that says, "Welcome to Georgia, home of the 1996 Atlantic Olympics," or Summer Olympics. All right, well, I'm glad to have her either way. All right, moving on. Question number 3. Amelia Earhart. That's right, they did do the regatta in Savannah. Question number 3. Amelia Earhart became the first woman to fly solo across the U.S. nonstop on July 24th of this year. I do not know the answer, but I do know how to make a good guess. Here we go. Here are your options. 1928, 1932, 1933, or 1935. July 24th of one of those years, Amelia Earhart flew nonstop across the United States. I don't even know how that's possible. What kind of airplane did we have back in that time frame that would have allowed somebody to fly all the way across the country nonstop? I think AI's messing with us again. I almost want to throw this question out because I don't think it's true. Here are your options: 1928, 1932, 1933, or 1935. Now, 3 of them are in the 30s, and 1 of them is close to the 30s. James is going with 35. Here's what I'm doing. I am making an educated guess based on the fact that I've written a lot of multiple choice exams in my career. And the hardest thing to do is to come up with the wrong answers, because the wrong answers have to meet their own criteria. So when it comes to a numbered thing, the easiest thing for me to do to come up with 1935, 1933, 1935, still explaining my answer, is immediately get rid of the highest and lowest numbers. Because when you're writing a multiple choice exam, that's what you do. You write a higher number, you write a lower number, and then you write a number that's close. So 1928, 1935 are gone for me. That gives me 1932 and 1933. And 1933 seems to be an answer that at least somebody likes. I will be the sole person. I'm going to go with 1932. With this caveat, I believe it's a trick question. I do not believe she was able to fly nonstop across the United States in that decade because we didn't have the technology to fly. Mid-air refueling, I don't think happened back then. I'll look into it further. Question number 4. On July 25th, 1978, it marked the birth of the first test tube baby. What was the very first test tube baby's name? I'm more into cloning. I know the first sheep that was cloned. I know her name. I don't know about the first test tube baby. Let's look at what our options are. Was it Mary Louise, Elizabeth Grace, Louis Brown, or Emma Watson? The name of the first test tube baby born July 25th, 1978, I do not believe is Emma Watson. I do not believe it's Louise Brown. I don't need you to tell me what nonstop means, sir. Nonstop means no stops. For this question, who was the first test tube baby and what was her name? I've narrowed it down for me between Mary Louise and Elizabeth Grace. And I think if you're going, David, that's freaking funny. I'm going to go with Elizabeth Grace on this one. I do not know the answer. It's just a guess. Harmony's Granger. Mary Louise is what Jess is saying. Okay. Well, we'll see if you're right soon. Question number 5. On July 26, 1945, what demand did the Allied powers make for Japan's unconditional surrender in World War II? What demand did the Allied powers make for Japan's unconditional surrender? Mary Louise, Mary Louise, Mary Louise. I see your answers. Your answers have been annotated. Good for you. I am confused equally by this question. July 26, 1945, what demand did the Allied powers make for Japan's unconditional surrender in World War II? Here are your options. The Tokyo Protocol, the Pearl Harbor Papers, the Potsdam Declaration, or the Surrender Accord. I don't know anything about this at all. I know a lot about the surrender of Japan. I know why MacArthur was dressed the way he was dressed. I know why they did it on the ship. I know a lot of things about this, but I don't know what demand did the Allied powers make, and if it was a demand, why it had Viagra? Funny. Glow in the dark, also funny. And if they did have a demand, why would they call it these things? These things make no sense. First of all, I believe we can eliminate the Pearl Harbor Papers and the Potsdam Declaration. I believe we can eliminate those right off the top. I don't think that the Surrender Accord and the Tokyo Protocol both kind of make sense. James would go with the Surrender Accord, and I'm going to agree with him. I just don't like the way the question was worded. But I also don't feel like arguing with ChatGPT anymore today. So James is going to go with the Surrender Accord. I'm going to go with the Surrender Accord. I'll wait for your other answers, but we're moving on in between. On July 23rd, 1999, no, it just says July 23, 1999, saw the tragic crash of a plane carrying what member of the Kennedy family? Surrender Accord, Honda Accord, very funny. July 23rd, 1999, one of the Kennedys died in a plane crash. Which one was it? Jessica's going with Tokyo. Noted. Was it Robert F. Kennedy Jr.? Was it Ted Kennedy? Was it Caroline Kennedy? Or was it John Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr.? I have to let TikTok know I'm still alive when I'm doing these things. 1999, July 23rd. Plane crashes, kills a Kennedy. What Kennedy was it? Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Ted Kennedy, Caroline Kennedy, or John F. Kennedy Jr.? I can see him. I know his face. He founded George Magazine. Oh, I forgot to use my Kennedy voice there. But oh, I'm sorry. This was a very sad day for the Kennedy family, July 23rd, 1999. One of us died. Was it Robert Kennedy Jr., Ted Kennedy, Caroline Kennedy, or John F. Kennedy Jr.? I think it's John Jr. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is alive. He's in charge of Health and Human Services or something. Caroline Kennedy, I believe, was also on this plane that crashed. There was like two Kennedys and a P that that died in this crash. I think it was John Jr. I think it was Caroline. It wasn't Ted, and it wasn't Robert. That's what I'm saying. JFK Jr. is what Jess is saying. She's agreeing with me. Oh, now Taney's coming around, and strangely enough, he's spelling it the exact same way. You two are cheating. Somebody's copying and pasting. I see it. We'll find out who's correct soon. Finally, question number 7. What historic war began on July 28th, 1914? What historic war began on July 28th, 1914? Was it the Civil War? Was it the Korean War? Was it World War I or World War II? Yes, he was the pilot. It was a single-engine plane crash off of Nantucket. He was flying in conditions he wasn't certified to fly in, and there were 2 other people on the plane with him, his wife and somebody else, but I don't remember who they were. What historic war began on July 28, 1914? Civil War, Korean War, World War I, or World War II? Which was it? I know the answer. I know so much about the answer. Yes, Archduke Franz Ferdinand. But here's the question, Mr. Taney. Who was the guy that killed him? Who assassinated Franz Ferdinand? And the more you know about this story, the more incredible it gets. And I'm going to tell it to you briefly while I'm Franz Ferdinand, World War I, World War I. I think we're all in agreement it's World War I. They tried to kill the Archduke on his way to a thing. There were people set up along the way to kill him, and they failed. But they did set off a detonation and injure some people in his party, and they all had to be sent to the hospital where Franz Ferdinand went with his wife and wished everybody well, and then they left going down the same route that they had come up. But the chauffeur of the horse and buggy carriage made a mistake. He went down the wrong road. And one of the assassins from earlier, who didn't get to assassinate, was just sitting there eating a sandwich. Nobody knows this guy's name, but he is single-handedly responsible for the deaths of millions and millions of people. But no one knows his name. I'm kind of good with that. The answer is Franz Ferdinand. The answer is World War I. Let's go over here to ChatGPT and find out how we did. I say answers, please. No, it's not war. What is it good for? It's war. Huh! Good God, y'all. What is it good for? All right, here we go. Question number 1 was correctly answered by many of us as Apollo 11. Jess no go 7 for 7 because she didn't go with 11. Question number 2 was in Atlanta, is where the Olympics were sponsored for 96, even though they were throughout the entire state. Amelia Earhart, I was wrong, but so were you. 1935 was the last year that we saw available to us, and was the last time we saw her. Again, I think that was a trick question. Question number 4, Louise Brown. The very first test tube baby had a very common name. Why not just name her Jane Doe? Boo. Horrible, horrible week. A horrible week for me. Question number 5 was called the Potsdam Declaration. Question number 6 was John F. Kennedy Jr. And question number 7 was World War I. There you go. That's the supplemental for this week. We talked about Animals Are Us, a little cash raffle charity supporting animal shelters in and around the area. We did our National Days of the Week, and we did This Week in History trivia style, of which I think I got 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 4 out of 7 correct. All right, with that being said, thanks for playing along. Thanks for watching. I always hope you have a good time. I remind you today, as I remind you every day, just be the best person that you can be. And if you're a great person today, be an even better person